Hello and welcome. This is Japan, and this is a NXT review from the 22nd. A pretty loaded show when you think about it. They actually filmed it in Houston, so it was a little out of their normal performance center stuff, which is always a little bit of a treat because you actually get to see a little bit of a different crowd. They definitely feel like more into it, and they get a little extra stuff, which we got a lot of LFG crossover on this episode. So I think that's always kind of fun. LFG is a pretty fun show, so if you don't watch that, it's maybe not as much for you, but there was a lot of good stuff here. So let's start off with an eight-man tag match, which was Solric and Zarya versus with Hank and Tank versus the Culling. Yeah. Why did that sound so? I don't know why that just completely didn't sound correct, which is kind of crazy. I mean, you kind of have sometimes mixed tag matches, but I don't think I've ever seen an eight-man one. Overall, this was just absolutely phenomenal. I mean, obviously, Soul Ruka was the best out of everybody, but everybody really got their licks in there, and everybody looked pretty good. Now, my main thing, this would easily have been an S tier match if we got a good ending. It just faded to black. Dark State kind of looked like they were going to come down, and then Tatum Paxley got the pin. But why? Like what was any of that? It just felt kind of dumb, to be honest. I felt like it was such a good match just to ruin it with such a dumb ending. Just didn't feel up to it. Darkseid could have just attacked him afterwards, or they could have distracted and then Tatum Pax got the roll up. But it's just like it turned back and then Paxley had her in a pin. It kind of felt dumb to have. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. The match itself cooked pretty good. The rest of it was just the ending that was a little underdone. But then we had JCJ's come down and talk her game now that she's a double champion and stuff. I'm just not a big fan of any of it. I'm gonna be completely honest. I'll put it down and see. She did fine on the mic. Just not my champion, I guess is the best way of saying it. I don't know. NXT is just a stacked division, and to have her in there just kind of feels criminal right now. So hopefully stuff will change, but it wasn't great. I mean, they had Lash Legend come down, Jada Parker came down to interrupt her, which will set up. It sounds like Fatal Influence try to go after those two, which is cool. It kind of sets up some time and some extra matches and stuff between here and Heat Wave, so they can actually have a rivalry cooked up before they get to there. So it's kind of interesting. But it looks like probably Jace probably won't even have a title defense until then. So I guess we'll see who it is that she ends up with. Next up, we had, I think they kind of like it was a low key number one contenders for the North American title. I don't think it was like official, but it was Jasper Troy versus Ricky Saints. This was another one. It was a match that, looked pretty good. Obviously, you had the LFG winner versus, one of the biggest free agents that they brought in. And so there was kind of going to be one of those things. Somebody was going to have to take an L, but it was a count out. And I didn't really understand it. Maybe I missed something because I didn't think it was no disqualification. So once they went out and he slammed him through the stuff, I'm pretty sure they should have called someone at that point, but maybe I'm just wrong. It just kind of felt dumb to a certain extent. The match itself I thought was okay before that. I'll put it in B. It was worth it to be on the show, but the ending just kind of felt dumb. It didn't really protect Ricky Saints because it just didn't work out that way. A regular count out probably would have been better than that, or just make a no disqualification match, but I don't know. Then we had Trick Willie come down and talk to the crowd, and then him getting confronted by the Undertaker as the American Badass. Like I said, there was a lot of LFG stuff here. I like it. I mean, it's interesting. It's a kind of a good rub to Trick Williams. He ended up getting chokeslammed though by the Undertaker, but like anybody in this current generation getting attacked by such a big legend, it's kind of a big deal. Obviously, there won't probably ever be a match or anything from there, but like it's a nice rub to get, like that's a big person that a lot of people know. So I'm putting that up at S tier. I mean, Trick Williams is getting a lot of stuff. Like if you think about how he's been the NXT champion, now the TNA title holder, this is the second time I think he's kind of interacted with the Undertaker. He's had interactions with John Cena. Like he's had some really good stuff to really put a good target on his back to possibly get that call up or possibly be doing something crazy in the next year. So kind of excited to see where they take this. Then we had Ren Sinclair versus Blake Monroe. This match was pretty adequate. I felt like it definitely could have used a little bit more time. Ren Sinclair has just been the number one GOAT right now because she's worked every free agent that they brought in and done a good job with it. It sucks that she just stacks all the L's, unfortunately, that sometimes you're just when you're good at your job, you get that. But it should show that people trust her like up in the organization because she's worked everybody. Stephanie Vercour, Zarya, Julia, and now Blake Monroe. It's a good thing to have under your repertoire. Hopefully she gets some type of payment for it with like some type of break. This match was a solid B. I just feel like they could have definitely used more time and I think it would have been better. Then we had Ethan Page come down and talk about his North American title. It said that he needed to make it more dignified, and he used this Canadian background for it. I'm like very excited about this. It's obviously kind of like a custom title. Probably means Ethan Page is going to hold on to it for a little bit, and I'm completely on board. Put this up in S tier. The design looks cool. The premise, everything is interesting, so I'm completely down for it. Next up, right after that, Santino Marella came down saying that, he wanted to challenge him for the title and that they're going to do that next week. I think it's kind of a cool idea. I mean, we haven't seen Santino in like a WWE match in a bit. I mean, obviously, we had some TNA stuff where he teamed up with his daughter and stuff like that, which is like, technically it was TNA, but so he's had matches, but not really an NXT match or a WWE match in forever. So I'm excited. It'll be an interesting choice there that they've done that. So I'm gonna put it up in S as excitement, and yeah, I can't wait to see that next week on NXT. Then we get to the main event. It was Obafemi versus Briggs versus Imamara. God, I had it right in my brain and then it completely came out incorrect. This match cooked. Obviously, all three big men. Anytime Obafemi gets in that triple threat, it just is automatic that it's going to be great. This was a great title defense. It was a big spot to have him right there. He looked powerful as hell because it was basically a handicap match from the beginning, and it just kind of fell apart at the end, like of the other two working together. So I think that puts even better that it takes two men just to barely slow down Obafemi. So S tier, great title defense, great thing. I put the show overall as probably like a B plus, A minus. It was a fun show. It was nice and tight with like everything. There was some segments that weren't great. We had some backstage stuff with Javon Evans trying to find some motivation. We had Bubba Ray talking to Charlie Dempsey and his crew about like teams and stuff like that. So Candice, what is it? I was about to say Michelle McCool had some talks with Fallon Headley and Jasmine Nix. So like there was some different LFG stuff that was kind of interesting, but overall, I thought the whole show was pretty good, and I can't wait for next week to see that North American title run and whatever else they put together because. NXT just consistently has a fun show. They're probably like the easiest show to watch, and just you have fun watching it, and it's like a nice story. I don't know what to say. It's entertaining, I guess is the best way of saying it. But until next time, it's been Japan. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye, guys.